Good evening. This is Rashad Mitchell coming to you live from my YouTube channel as I continue on my part series. Understanding Black, the week that was. Apologize about the week that was. College football history review, the 1972 college football season. Tonight I'll be talking about the bowl games that were played, then go over some other stuff outside of that, much more. Let's get into it. 1972 major bowl games, starting with the Liberty Bowl on December 18th. Georgia Tech beat Iowa State 31-30. The deciding Liberty Bowl game came down to incomplete two-point conversion pass by Iowa State quarterback George Emerson. Cyclones enjoyed a slim 21-17 lead at halftime after nifty 93-yard kickoff return for a touchdown by Willie Jones, the wide receiver. Yellow Jackets quarterback Jim Stevens, subbing for suspended quarterback Eddie McAshan, then threw his second and third touchdown passes to give Georgia Tech late 31-24 lead. Now Stevens almost grew goat horns in late going as his lost fumble at Tech 33-yard line led to Emerson quick 5-yard touchdown pass to wide receiver Ike Harris, which proved to be Iowa State's final touchdown. Now Emerson, who received little national attention during the season, threw for 153 yards and rushed for team high 78 yards as Cyclones played without injured tailback Mike Strahan. Area civil rights leaders organized people protest game before the game in honor of McAshan, who claimed that racism was at the heart of his suspension. So some black players on both sides wore armbands in support of McAshan, who early had become the first African American to start at quarterback for any major college in the South. So that's a story on that. The Fiesta Bowl, December 23rd. Arizona State beat Missouri 49-35 as high-octane Sun Devils dazzled in National Showcase, gaining school record 718 yards. Arizona State had plenty of stars like quarterback Danny White, who threw for 266 yards, like halfback Woody Green, who rushed for 202 yards. Fullback Brent McClanahan chipped in with 171 yards rushing. Green scored 4 times, while White and wide receiver Ed Beverly hooked up on 2 scoring passes after 2 possessions. Arizona State had 56 yards and 14-0 lead on Green's opening 2 touchdown runs. Missouri defensive back John Mosley ended next possession with interception, which led to 8-yard touchdown run by fullback Don Johnson to have the deficit. And McClanahan then set up on 1-yard scoring run with 55-yard burst up middle. Sun Devils squeezed in another tailback touchdown before halftime, ended on 34-yard pass from White to Beverly, who outfought Tigers defensive back Mike Fink in end zone for a solid 28-7 lead. The Tigers rallied behind halfback Tommy Riemann and scored twice on touchdown passes from quarterback John Cherry to wide receiver Chuck Link to pull to 28-21. Now the teams traded touchdowns, with Fink returning kickoff 100 yards to cut deficit again to 35-28. The Devils roared as White threw 53 yards tight touchdown to Beverly, and defense made 3 picks of Cherry. The Peach Bowl, December 29th. North Carolina State beat West Virginia 49-13. Tight 14-13 game at halftime was blown open by Wolfpack's dominating third quarter performance. Quarterback Dave Bucky led 3 touchdown drives. Second only went 6 yards after block punt as North Carolina State pulled away. Now Bucky ran for score and threw for 2 others. His twin brother, wide receiver Dan Bucky, caught a 37-yard touchdown. NC State's rushing attack ran for 337 yards as tailback Willie Burton rushed for 116 yards. Fullback Stan Fritz cracked the end zone on 3 occasions. Mountaineers was frustrated for most of the second half, gaining only 86 yards as Wolfpack defense posted shutout after opening period. So in the first quarter, West Virginia grabbed 13-7, lead on 2 field goals by Frank Nestor, the kicker. 37-yard pass from quarterback Bernie DeLiffa to slender wide receiver Danny Bucks. December 30th, the Astro Blue Bonnet Bowl was played between Tennessee and Louisiana State, but Tennessee beat Louisiana State 24-17. The Volunteers rolled the legs and right arm of masterful quarterback Condridge Holloway to 24-3 halftime lead. Now, before having to withstand LSU Second half rally, Holloway rushed for 96 yards and two scores on runs of 15 yards and 10 yards and threw 6 yards scoring pass to wide receiver Jimmy Young. So Tigers defense found some energy to shut down Holloway and his mates in final 30 minutes, which allowed LSU offense to mount comeback. LSU scored touchdowns on a 2-yard run by quarterback Burke Jones and 1-yard run by tailback Brad Davis. The Titan game at St. 24-17 in the fourth quarter. Now Jones led the late drive to Tennessee 22-yard line, but Bengals were halted on downs on Tennessee All-American defensive back Conrad Graham. Batted down final pass that was intended for LSU wide receiver Gerald Keeley. With less than 2 minutes remaining, Tennessee gained 232 yards, 14 first downs in the first half, but only 41 yards and 3 first downs in the second half. Now LSU was held to 0 yards net and 5 first downs in the first half, but improved its numbers to 197 yards total offense and 13 first downs. Next, the Gator Bowl. December 30th, Auburn beat Colorado by a score of 24-3. Now, Auburn's hopes got emotional boost from odds makers who pegged Colorado as an 11-point favorite, despite success number 6 Tigers enjoyed all season in their accustomed role as underdogs. Once again, Auburn defense led the way, limiting Buffaloes to 63 yards rushing, which included virtual whitewash of Bison tailback Charlie Davis, who managed only 12 yards. Auburn also forced 4 turnovers, stumbling Colorado needed 20 minutes to earn its initial first down. Auburn scored 10 points off miscues while also stopping Colorado threat with end zone interceptions. While taking 3-0 lead on a 27-yard field goal by kicker Gardner Jett, Auburn recovered fumble on Buffalo's 16-yard line, substituting for injured quarterback Randy Walls. Quarterback Wade Watley scored on 1 yard keeper for a 10-0 lead, which SEC runners up maintained to halftime. Tigers stretched their lead on 2 scoring passes from non-traditional but adventurous sources, like wingback Mike Fuller, who threw a 22-yard touchdown pass to tight end Rob Spivey. On a fake field goal, a cornerback Dave Beck threw a 16-yard touchdown to tight end Dan Nugent. Colorado kicker Freddie Lima made a 33-yard field goal in the fourth quarter to avert shutout. The Sun Bowl, December 30th. North Carolina beat Texas Tech 32-28 as quarterback Nick Vidnovic led the Tar Heels to a late touchdown that finished off topsy-turvy contest. Vidnovic's 13-yard touchdown pass to wingback Ted Leverance, who earlier caught 62-yard touchdown strike, was game winner with a minute left. North Carolina opened with 9-0 lead on 32-yard field goal by kicker Ellis Alexander and 22 yards touchdown run by fullback Dick Olive. Texas Tech rolled back with 21 points, including scoring runs of 65 yards and 46 yards by tailback Stuart Smith, who rushed for a game record 172 yards. Now, Tar Heels rebounded to 24-21, edge on Leverance, long touchdown catch, and 3-yard touchdown run by tailback Billy Height. It was Tech's turn to take lead after wide receiver Lawrence Williams returned the punt 38 yards, and Smith obliged with the third touchdown on a 5-yard run. The exchange of punts left Carolina fairly close in at Red Raiders' 37-yard line. Vidnovic went to work. Vidnovic converted 4th and 1 with 4-yard keeper to set up his winning pass. Any chance for Texas Tech ended 2 plays later with sack of quarterback Joe Barnes in end zone for safety. Sugar Bowl, December 31st. Oklahoma shut out Penn State 14-0. In bruising battle of unbending lines, it took 160-pound freshman wide receiver Tinker Owens to turn the game for Oklahoma, as Owens had 27-yard touchdown catch in the second quarter, adding spectacular diving catch in the fourth quarter to set up another touchdown and earning Gaines Outstanding Player award. Penn State was in trouble before opening kickoff as star tailback John Cappelletti was knocked out with flu. Quarterback John Heffnagel, forced to throw 31 passes, was sacked 3 times, harassed all day by Sooners defensive linemen. The defensive line featuring defensive end Ray Hamilton, defensive tackles Lucius Selman, and Derlin Moore. Oklahoma had to overcome 5 fumbles, but halfback Greg Pruitt rushed for 86 yards to lead ground attack. The loss snapped Penn State's 10-game unbeaten streak, 4-game bowl winning streak, and induced Sooner faithful to root for Ohio State to upset top-ranked Southern California in the Rose Bowl. Cotton Bowl. Texas beat Alabama 17-3. Texas coach Darrell Royal remained undefeated, 3 wins and a tie against Alabama coach Bear Bryant as Horns survived matchup billed as Battle of the Wishbones. Texas won on strength of quarterback Allen Lowry's 2 touchdown runs in the second half. Questionable either after bout of tonsillitis, Lowry, who had 117 yards rushing, 16 carries, led the attack that gained 317 yards rushing with nary fumble nor penalty. Win wasn't finalized until Longhorns linebacker Randy Braban halted Alabama halfback Wilbur Jackson on 4th and 1 at Texas 43-yard line in closing moments. Jackson had put tied in front 10-0 in first quarter, a 31-yard touchdown run after kicker Greg Gant kicked game record 50-yard field goal, but his first game field goal of season. Alabama safety Steve Wade set up both scores with interceptions. One, he returned 42 yards. Tide led until Lowry's second touchdown on 34-yard bootleg run down left sideline with 4:22 left, which featured both brilliant running and controversial no call, as he appeared to have stepped out at 10-yard line, trying to avoid tackle by Alabama cornerback Mike Washington. Defensive back Terry Malincomb chipped in with 2 interceptions for Steers, including one in end zone early in fourth quarter to end threat. Texas fullback Roosevelt Leak gained 120 yards rushing, his 7th 100 yards game of the season. Alabama quarterback Terry Davis shook off 2 interceptions to throw for 174 yards, but was less effective in the second half. The Bryant, who selected game when Tide was ranked number 2, was ambassador by bypassing higher-ranked opponents that awaited him in Sugar and Orange Bowls. Orange Bowl, Nebraska beat Notre Dame 40-6 after failing to contain Southern California tailback Anthony Davis in the season finale. The Fighting Irish defense now had to tangle with Heisman Trophy winning Johnny Rodgers. Wingback Rodgers was placed in I-back position in I formation for most of the game and scored 4 touchdowns while throwing for another 52-yard pass to wide receiver Frosty Anderson. The final touchdown, 50th overall, including bowls of Rodgers' glorious career, came on a 50-yard dash after nabbing quick sideline pass from quarterback Dave Hump. That score capped a 20-point burst in the opening 9 minutes of third quarter that canceled Irish comeback plans. In addition to successful passing effort, Rodgers overcame flu bug, which had knocked 10 pounds off his 178-pound playing weight to lead Huskers in scoring game record 24 points, rushing 84 yards on 15 carries, receiving 71 yards, receiving on 3 catches, despite sitting out last 21 minutes. Now, Notre Dame quarterback Tom Clements suffered 3 interceptions while Notre Dame was held to 104 yards rushing. Early in the fourth quarter, Clements moved Irish 77 yards for only score 5-yard touchdown pass to wide receiver Pete Demero. Rolling up 560 yards, Nebraska became the first school to win 3 straight Orange Bowls while handing coach Ara Parseghian his worst loss in 9 years at Notre Dame. And finally, the Rose Bowl. Southern California 42, Ohio State 17. Once USC fullback Sam Cunningham went airborne, it was close to impossible for college players, even Ohio State's exemplary goal line defensive members, to prevent him from his patented touchdown landing in the end zone. Cunningham dove 4 times and scored 4 times, and Trojans blew open a 7-7 halftime contest to win 3rd national championship and coach John McKay's 13 years. Southern California scored on its initial 5 second-half possessions to eliminate any chance of an upset. Tailback Anthony Davis rushed for 157 yards. Explosive tandem of quarterback Mike Ray, who had 229 yards passing, a touchdown pass, and 18 of 25 passing. And wide receiver Lynn Swan, who had 6 catches for 108 yards and a touchdown, nearly were unstoppable as Trojans scored most points ever allowed by any Ohio State team coached by Woody Hayes. Phil Davis' kickoff return abilities forced Buckeyes to kick short, which got the Trojans rolling to touchdown scoring drives of 57 and 56 yards in the third quarter. Ray completed 23-yard pass to Lynn Swann on 3rd and 17 to keep go-ahead drive in gear. While big play on next possession, which ended on a 20-yard touchdown run by Davis, was a 22-yard completion to Swann. The Buckeyes were now beaten, but still fighting as they did in the first half struggle when they had tied game at 7-7 on a 1-yard run by fullback Randy Keefe. The Buckeyes held back Archie Griffin, ran 20 times for a team high 95 yards. Let's look at the AP poll. The final AP poll is of January 3rd. Number 20 was Georgia Tech, 19 Washington State, 18 Louisville, North Carolina State, 17, 16 Colorado, 15 UCLA, 14 Notre Dame, 13 Arizona State, 12 North Carolina, 11 Louisiana State. The top 10 round out is this: 10 Penn State, 9 was Ohio State, 8 Tennessee, 7 Alabama, 6 Michigan, the top 5, number 5 Auburn, 4 Nebraska, 3 Texas, 2 Oklahoma, and number 1 Southern California. That concludes a look at the polls on the 72 season. Now it's time to get into the top performance formula of 1972. Number 1 Southern California. Top opponents records for 1972. Auburn, number 1. Out of conference records, 1972. The best record for the out of conference records in 1972 was the Southeastern Conference. They have 29-10 record, 7.436 percentage, 1-2 in the bowl game. Now let's look at the 1972 individual statistical leaders for 1972 season. Leading the nation in rushing yards was Pete Van Valkenburg of Brigham Young. Had 232 attempts for 1,386 yards, averaging 6 yards per game. Passing yards, Don Strock, Virginia Tech, 228 completions, 427 attempts, 3,243 yards, 53.4 percentage for his completions. Receiving yards, Barry Smith, Florida State, was number 1 in the nation in receiving yards, 69 catches for 1,243 yards. That was the most in the nation. Now let's look at the 1972 consensus All-American team. On offense, Johnny Rogers, Nebraska. The tight end, Charles Young, Southern California. The tackles, Jerry Sizemore, Texas. Paul Seymour, Michigan. And the guards, John Hanna, Alabama. Ron Rusnak, North Carolina. The center, Tom Berhaney, Oklahoma. The quarterback, Burt Jones, LSU. And the running backs, Greg Pruitt, Oklahoma. Otis Armstrong, Purdue. And Woody Green, Arizona State. The defense, consistent All-American defense, was led by ends like Willie Harper, Nebraska, Bruce Bannon, Penn State. The tackles, Greg Marks, Notre Dame, Dave Butts, Purdue. The middle guard, Rich Glover, Nebraska. The linebackers, Randy Gradishaw, Ohio State, John Skorupin, Penn State. And the defensive backfield, the secondary, Brad Van Pelt, Michigan State, Cullen Bryant, Colorado, Robert Propelka, SMU, and Randy Logan of Michigan. 1972 Heisman Trophy vote looked like this. Johnny Rogers, the senior wingback of Nebraska, was the top vote getter. He won the Heisman in 1972 with 1,310 votes. Greg Pruitt, senior halfback of Oklahoma, won the Heisman. Was finished second in the Heisman. Greg Pruitt, senior halfback of Oklahoma, was finished second in the Heisman with 966 votes. Again, Johnny Rogers won the Heisman with 1,310 votes. Johnny Rogers. Rich Glover finished third as a senior nose guard from Nebraska with 652 votes. Finishing fourth, Burt Jones, senior quarterback, Louisiana State, for 351 votes. Terry Davis, senior quarterback, Alabama, finished with 338 votes. And last but not least, the other major award winners. The Maxwell Player of the Year award went to Brad Van Pelt, senior safety of Michigan State. The Outland Lineman Trophy award winner was Rich Glover, senior nose guard, Nebraska. The Lombardi Lineman Trophy of the Year, Lombardi Lineman Trophy went to Rich Glover, senior nose guard, Nebraska. The Walter Kent Player Award Trophy went to Greg Pruitt, senior halfback, Oklahoma. And finally, the AFCA Coach of the Year was John McKay for Southern California. So that includes a look at the 1972 major bowl games that were played, as well as going over stats and all that the records and, you know, the leaders and statistics and assists All-American team, the Heisman Trophy votes and voting, Heisman Trophy voting, and other major award winners for 1972 college football season. So that concludes the look at that. Tomorrow I'll look at the overview of the 1973 college football season, the overview, and go over week 1 of the games that were played in 1973 college football season, and much more. Please like and subscribe and comment on the channel. I'll do a video of this magnitude tomorrow. Until then, talk to you tomorrow.